Hey, we're having a fire drill. I gotta leave, but if you've ever wanted to hear what an American fire drill sounds like.
Elevators use stairwells where necessary. All handicapped occupants shall use the building evacuation plan.
Alright, I gotta get out of the building. I gotta put this mask on. Gotta get out of the building.
Attention, please. There has been a report of an emergency. Proceed calmly to the nearest exit and leave the building immediately. Do not use the elevators. Use stairwells where necessary. All handicapped occupants shall use the building evacuation plan.
Hello, and welcome back to a different kind of video. Basically, this video is two complete mini lessons. One about how Americans take care of their yard during the fall. Sometimes we call it fall cleanup. And the other is how Americans prepare for a fire drill that we often have at American schools. If you want to see both of those lessons, just sit back, let the lesson play, it'll all be good. If you only want to watch one of them, if you look below, there should be chapters that will take you exactly to the lesson you want to see. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. Hello, and welcome back to another video. This is American English with this guy. My name is Brent. Been an English teacher in the United States for 20 years, and the goal of this channel is to help you improve your English. It is Sunday here in the United States. I'm not exactly sure what this video is going to be about yet, but one thing I have to do before I make any kind of video for YouTube is I need to take care of my lawn. Since it's fall, a lot of the leaves have fallen off one of the trees in my yard, and I need to pick them all up. Not exactly happy about that. I think this video will either be about all the ways to use run, maybe about Democrats versus Republicans, or maybe just a bunch of mini lessons all in one video. You already know what this video is about because of the title and the thumbnail, but while I'm picking up those leaves, I'm gonna think about what video I should do next. I'm also a little nervous because this morning I signed up with an Italian tutor on italki for the first time. I want to take my Italian to the next level. If you want to take your English to the next level, there is a link in the description box for italki. If you use that link to sign up, you will get bonus credits just by clicking on that link after your first lesson. Depending on your country, it should equal about 10 American dollars. To pick up those leaves, I'm going to use my lawnmower. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. In addition to my lawnmower, I will need a rake, trash bag, and a trash can. I do have a leaf blower. You may remember that from the Electro Words video I did this summer, but it's such a long way to blow all of those leaves into the woods. I think it's better if I just use my lawnmower, grind them up, put them in a bag, put them in a trash can, call it a day. It's 6 degrees Celsius out. To me, that's pretty cold. How about to you? Leave it in the comments section if you think 6 degrees is too cold to be outside doing yard work or fall cleanup. We call this fall cleanup or yard work. I don't know if I should get some gloves. Am I just being a baby? Let me know, please. It's a little cold. And while I'm picking up the lawn, I'll definitely be thinking of the next video, but I'll also be listening to some Italian while I work. I'll be listening to Podcast Italiano and also my buddy Arroni. And of course, I have my friends Piatto Square Italiano on my playlist. They just celebrated 2,000 subscribers. Well done. Okay, that done. I thought it would take me about an hour, but it only took me about a half an hour. So if you want a difficult sentence to express that, here's one. That took much less time than I thought it would. All right, I'm gonna finish up the rest of this lawn. The next time you see me, I'll be doing the actual English lesson. I hope you enjoyed that part of the video about fall cleanup or yard work. It's important that we get rid of the leaves, get them up off the ground before winter comes, because as I was talking with Shea on YouTube, the leaves can get kind of mushy, which means soft. And if they stay on the ground throughout winter, they will become mushy and mold might grow under those leaves, and they would be a real big mess in the spring. Now, let's talk about fire drills in schools. As you can see, that's what it sounds like when there's a fire drill. And ever since I was a kid, probably before that, schools have been practicing for if their school ever caught fire. And we call that a fire drill. And when I was a kid, that's all we called it, was a fire drill. A loud alarm would go off. The students would calmly, not with a lot of excitement, calmly walk out of the room, probably following the teacher, out towards the nearest exit. Calmly, safely, so that nobody accidentally gets trampled as they're walking. Trampled meaning someone gets tripped, falls down, somebody lands on them. It can be pretty scary if a bunch of little kids were running out of the building. Somebody could get hurt. So during a fire drill, children, students, teachers too, practice walking out of the building calmly. When we get out of the building, we usually back away several feet from the school in case the school is actually burning. We don't want anyone to get burnt. And that also gives a place for the fire trucks to get near the school, and we don't have to worry about any students getting run over by a fire truck. Like I said, when I was a kid, they were known only as fire drills. In the last couple years, they've been known as something else, and that is a school evacuation. So when there is a fire drill is like practice. You're practicing leaving the building if there was a real fire. But now things have changed. Within about the last 10 years, they're starting to be known as school evacuation drills. Evacuate. That's the verb we use when you have to leave a place kind of quickly because something bad is going to happen. If people live near the coast, and the coast is what we call near the ocean, if people live near the coast, they might have to evacuate if a hurricane comes. The same thing for a school. If something bad was going on in the school, we would have to evacuate. We would have to leave. And it might not only be a fire. The reason these drills or these practices are now known as evacuation drills is because there might be a school shooter. Unfortunately, in the US, a couple times a year, a person enters a school and tries to shoot a lot of people, often a lot of small children. All school shootings are sad, but one really sad school shooting happened back in December of 2012 in the state of Connecticut. I remember it well because my wife, Jamie, and I flew down to Virginia to see our favorite band, the Dave Matthews Band, play. And my kids were back at home in Maine when we found out about the news from Connecticut. About 20 students and their teacher had been killed, and they were in the same exact grade as my daughter at the time. I'm filming this in 2020. Those first graders would be freshmen in high school right now. It's a day I'll never forget, December 14th, 2012. Of course, I didn't know any of these students, but it reminded me exactly how much I missed my children at that time. I was there to see a concert. We had just arrived, but I really wanted to fly back home to see my children. We live several hundred miles away from that school, but it just made me think of all those poor innocent kids who were killed for no reason. So in schools, they often don't call it a fire drill anymore. They call it a school evacuation or an evacuation drill to get kids out of the building if there is potentially a shooter nearby. If a shooter is in the building, we will do the opposite, not evacuate or leave, but we will go into what is called lockdown, which is where the teachers will go to the door, lock it, turn off the lights. All of the students and teachers will get on the floor in a safe corner of the room and try to be as quiet as possible. Because even though school shootings will make the news, they are still pretty rare. So some people believe practicing lockdown drills is even more harmful to students because they will probably never experience a school shooting, but going into lockdown can be a very scary thing. So scary that one time I honestly had a student who started throwing up in the classroom. I couldn't let him out of the room. He had to throw up in a trash can in front of everybody. It was embarrassing to him and probably was more harmful to the children because they are most likely never going to experience a school shooting. But unlike lockdowns where we stay in the classroom, most students really like the fire drill or evacuation drill that we had today because it gets them out of the building and they don't have to do any work while they're outside. It usually takes us about 15 minutes before everyone can go back inside, because what happens outside is that people from the main office in the school, like the principal and the secretaries and the office managers, they have to go around to make sure that every student, teacher, staff got out of the building safely during a fire drill or an evacuation drill. The state that I live in Maine, requires us to have 7 fire drills or evacuation drills each year. So oftentimes the principal will schedule these drills for times during the year it's warm, like spring and fall. If the fire alarm goes off during the winter, there's a pretty good chance that it's a real fire. This happens quite often when someone burns popcorn in the microwave. I've been a teacher for 20 years. I have never experienced a real fire besides that popcorn in the microwave. Twice, however, I have experienced a real lockdown. Lockdowns will happen when there are school shooters, but they will also happen if there is a crime nearby a school. One time, I was at a school that was right near a hospital, and a person with a gun was on top of the hospital. And even though the hospital was across the street, we went into a lockdown just to keep all of the kids safe. We had to stay in our rooms with the lights off. Students could not go out to recess. The other real lockdown I was involved in was actually when that student was throwing up in the trash can in my room. A bank about a mile away from the school was robbed, and the people who robbed that bank had guns, so that automatically put us into a lockdown situation. I hope you have enjoyed these 2 lessons. If you're looking for more English or you want to see the inside of an American school, right up there is a video I did taking you on a tour of my school before COVID hit. And below that is a video Jamie and I did about American slang. And if you want to check out my Instagram, I just got off Instagram. We did a live video with Adriana from Poland. Didn't expect that to happen, but it did. There's a link in the description for that. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.